Hi guys, welcome to Pitchero headquarters here in Leeds. I hope you're all well. Thanks for joining us this evening, really appreciate it. What we're going to go through today is getting ready for the 2020 season. Now, this is mainly aimed at sports that obviously are in the summer, so your likes of cricket, lacrosse, some types of hockey, netball, all that sort of thing. So I appreciate, obviously, you've all been on previously as well, and you're all at different levels. But I always think it's quite good to have a refresher, obviously, when it's coming. So my name's Dan Ingham. I'm one of the senior account managers. We've got another senior account manager in Joe with me.
Hi guys, I'm Joe. It'll be between me and Dan. We'll be running through everything this evening.
So as he says, Joe's going to start off going through bits and pieces regarding sort of membership, seasons, and how you connect to leagues and things like that. I'll then take over towards the end. I'll do some on the sort of payment side of things, what's coming at Pitchero, a little bit about the club app as well. What we'll ask if you can do, if you can save your questions, type your questions as you go, but we'll get to them at the end. So as I say, without further ado, I'll pass you over to Joe and we'll get started.
Cheers, Dan. Like I say, we'll be running through today. The idea really being behind the fact that the 2020 season for you guys who are in summer sports just around the corner now. So it's key to ensure that you're kind of getting a little bit ahead of the game and making sure that the site's in the right place. Hopefully you can all see my screen. If you can't, please comment in the questions section and we'll take a look into it. But hopefully it should be working. What I'm going to do is run through a few things that you may already know. You might have, done this plenty of times before, but there is some people on here, like Dan mentioned, you're at sort of varying levels of sort of expertise within Pitchero. So some of this stuff you might already know. Some of it might just be a bit of a refresher because you haven't done this since last year. But typically what these are going to be is just a few 5 or 6 tips from us, things we think you should be doing to the site and in the admin panels to ensure that the site's in a good place for the new season. So I'll jump straight into it. Bear in mind when I'm going through these things, you don't have to do them in any particular order. So the order in which I'm doing them now, that doesn't really mean anything. I'm just going to go through, I've got 3 or 4 points to go through here before I pass over to Dan. Don't worry about which order you do them in. You can do them however you want. This is just typically the way I'm going to run through them. So the first thing that I'm going to jump into is making sure that you have, with it being the new season, that you've got the new season set up on Pitchero. So this will actually already be on here because we did the same webinar this morning. So some of the things that we show you, this is just a test website. So some of the things that we show you will kind of already be done because we did this earlier on today as well. But if I jump into the settings section here and head down to seasons on the left-hand side, what I'm quickly going to show you is how to ensure that you have the 2020 season set up. So annoyingly, I think we're going to change this for future webinars. We're using a hockey website, which is actually a sport that kind of runs, sort of through the break of the year. So as you'll see, these other seasons previously are 17, 18, 18, 19, 19, 20, etc. What you guys will be looking to do is add in this season here, which is the 2020 season. I'm going to remove it so that I can show you how to add it again. Typically, what you will see when you head to this page is one that just says 2019 season. And it'll be in it, basically will store all the data from last year. What you're doing by creating the new one here is adding somewhere for all of your fixtures and information and results and stuff to show on the front end of the site. If you don't add this in, you can still put all the fixtures and stuff in, but they won't appear. So, this is quite an important piece. So basically, into settings, into seasons at the bottom, click add a season. It'll then give you the option to add in whichever season it is you're looking to do. It'll populate it automatically for you. So say, for example, the last one you put in was 2019. It'll automatically say 2020. I'm going to go through, in fact, I'm going to leave this one kind of as it is, 2020 to 2021, just because it makes sense on the site we're on. But you guys will be making that say 2020. Then you'd be choosing the start dates of the season. So typically for you guys in the summer seasons, I know that cricket is typically the end of March, early April. So you would go through there, just kind of select which month it is that you're starting in, select the date. For this one, I'm going to leave it as it is. The end date would be when that finishes. So for you guys, it may be like the end of September, depending on the sport. Select your end date there, click save. That season will then appear at the top of the list. It will then also, as I'm about to show you, when you click into your teams, be the first season that you see because it's typically, well, it's the most recent one. So if I head into teams here, the team that we're going to use more so today will probably be one of these. Like I say, this is a test website, so we're trying to find the ones that has the right information in. So I'll click on the under 15s boys here, for example, for to look at this, you'll see here that season will be shown. It's the 2020 to 2021, or in your case, just the 2020 season. When you've added in your fixtures, I'm about to show you how a couple of ways you can do that. They'll all display here. So the dates that you put within this section, as I showed you before, make sure that they match up with the season dates, because otherwise the fixtures might not show correctly. But it's quite easy. It's quite simple. There's a couple of ways in which now I'm going to show you, just to make sure that you've got the correct competitions and stuff. If your competition is on Pitchero, you'll be able to search our competition database to add those fixtures. So if I click in and add a fixture here, it'll tell you that there's a couple of different ways you can do it. Now I'll quickly talk you through them. So as I just mentioned there, you can connect with a competition that's already in our database by using the connect with a league or cup button here. You can add your own fixtures in, so you can add them in one by one. Just add in a fixture, you know, like an ad hoc fixture, maybe it's a friendly or a cup game will still need to be added this way. Or you can upload a spreadsheet of fixtures yourself, which doesn't create them in the competition database, but it basically will add them to your page. The key way of doing this, which is what we really recommend everybody does, is to connect with a league or cup competition. So if you click the connect button there, it will allow you to search for the competitions that are linked to your sport. So if I type in here, as we're in Yorkshire, type in Yorkshire, it'll show us all the Yorkshire hockey leagues that are on Pitchero. I've got this selected as only active competitions. So basically that is just the ones, like I say, that are live this season. There is a hell of a lot of competitions in there. You can connect previous competitions for previous seasons and stuff if you want to. But that's the main way of doing it. You would connect them in there. You click the connect button. So say, for example, it was the Premier Division. Find your team, because they should already be in there if that's already been added in, and then just connect that and your fixtures will appear. If they're not already there, it doesn't mean that they can't be. You can get them added in. Just drop the guys in the support team an email at support@pitchero.com. Request a fixture template form. They will send you one out, fill it in, send it back. They'll create the competition within the database. You connect to it and then update your scores and stuff like that as you go throughout the season. If you are a cricket club, so this is obviously pointing towards a fair few cricket clubs in terms of the summer season. If you're a cricket club and your league operates with the ECB Play Cricket website, we do have an active integration with those guys. So if your league is on there and all of your scorecards and results and stuff get posted on there, you will be able to, by February time, find your competition in here. We will automatically add it and automatically update all the results for you, provided that they are added into Play Cricket. So keep an eye out for that when you are, like I say, looking to connect to your competitions and whatnot. If you're a cricket club and you're on Play Cricket, that stuff will be there for you, and there's very little that you'll have to do, just kind of update it on the Play Cricket side. So that's about it really in terms of connecting to your competitions. Hopefully that all makes sense. I can see there's a couple of questions have come through. We're going to jump to them at the end if that's okay. So if you do have any other questions, feel free to pop them in. Not a problem at all. I'm going to move now. Well, the next thing is quite closely linked to the thing that I'm about to talk about after that. So my second point here is going to be in regards to kind of moving your players into the correct teams. So you've put the seasons up, you've connected your under-15s boys to the correct competition. What you'll need to do now is make sure that the right players are in the right teams. Now, I think I moved everybody out of the under-15s boys in our earlier webinar today. So what I'm going to look at now is if I go into our membership database here, click into all teams, and filter down to the players that are just in the under-16s boys, because that's where I moved them to earlier. You'll see here that has moved down to just a result of 49 people. So as beforehand, there was a couple of hundred people in the membership database. These 49 people are the people who are linked with the boys under-16s team. These guys are probably going to move up to the next age group, with it being the new season. Now, there's a couple of different ways in which you can do this. I'll quickly explain the differences. If you want the front end of your site to display the teams in the way in which they've moved up. So, for example, if you were looking at the under-16s boys, you wanted to see how they performed last season, you would go to the under-15s and look at last season. What you'll need to do is move all the players up to the new team. If you just want the team to be given a different name, there's another way you can do it where you just change the name of the team. What I'm going to show you here now is how to move your players from one team to another rather than just editing the team. So I've clicked into the under-16s boys here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to move these guys all up to the men's 6th team. So if I click into if I untick the under-16s boys and click into the men's 6th team, you will see here that there's only 10 people in there. I would typically move those guys up to whatever team they're in, or if they're staying put, I'll go to the under-16s boys again, have them all shown. I'll select everybody, as you'll see here, selected 49. I will go to the button here that says roles, and I will edit their roles. What I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the role of a player for the under-16s, and I'm going to add a role of the player for the men's 6th team. Now, this can work for if it's under-10s moving up to under-11s, under-11s moving up to the 12s, etc. All you need to make sure is that you start at the highest age group and move everybody up that needs to be moved up. So what I'm going to do, click into here, edit their roles. The first thing I'm going to do is that I'm going to add a role, and I'm going to add a role as a player of the men's 6th team. Click OK. And then what I'm also going to do at the same time is remove a role. I'm going to remove the role of a player for the boys under 16s. So I click OK on that one as well, and then click Save. You'll see that this will change the amount of people that you can see when that actually loads up. As you'll see there, so this person here must be listed as not just a player, they're listed as an official as well, hence why they show. But 48 of those 49 were players, so they've now moved to the men's 6th team. So if I enable that and disable the under-16s boys, you'll see before that there was 10. So 48 of them moved in. There's now 58 results there. So they've now all been added to that team. So that's one way of doing it, moving the players and then the coaches and then the team admins in separate kind of instances, moving them up to the next age group. Or the other thing you can do, which is a really quick way of doing it, but it really does depend on how you want to do it. You can do it the way I've just showed you. Or, for example, you could click into here. If I click into the under-11s juniors, for example, and I want to make them the under-13s. Let's say, for example, in this sport here, you jump up. I'm only saying that because we've already got an under-12s team there. But I could go in here and change that team there, change the name of the team to the under-13 juniors, change that age group there to under-13s, scroll down and save that. So I'm just changing the settings of that team. That team will now display as the name of that team as the under-13s. That will keep all of the sort of information that you've had linked against the guys in that team before. It'll all be there. So if you wanted to see how they performed last season, you click into the under-13s and just look at the previous seasons. It really does depend on how you guys as a club want to manage that. There are two different ways you can do it. As you'll see, editing the team names a lot quicker and easier, like a little bit less complicated. But moving players from the teams might be the way that you guys want to do it. Totally up to you. The third and final thing that I'm going to talk about here, guys, before I pass over to Dan, is managing your membership data. Now, you may or may not use Pitchero to kind of store your registration data. If you don't, we really recommend that you do this. The system is really, really good and manages the registration of players and collecting membership information. It manages that really, really well. Now, this is in terms of kind of the information that you hold on these people. So if I go into the database here, hover over fields, you'll see all of these different fields here that we've added. Now, if I click into medical conditions, for example, that could be something that I've gathered on some of our members. Now, these are all test members, so nobody's actually filled it in. But say, for example, here, Leela had filled in her medical conditions, you would see that in the membership database. It would then also be able to be exported and used for kind of registering your players with the county or the board. You do that within your fields section here. I'll not go into it too much as to how you kind of add all of this information in. There is loads of stuff on the Help Centre, or contact our support team. We can send you our previous webinars. We're also doing a webinar next week, which kind of runs through this stuff. So have a look on the blog over the next day or two. There'll be links to how you sign up to that. But basically, using these membership fields to gather information on your members, store that in your membership database. A lot of clubs are doing that. If you are, you want to make sure that you're keeping this up to date. So your board, your hockey board or your cricket board or whatever it might be, might kind of need different information year on year. So you need to make sure that you're keeping these kind of edited the way they should be and up to date. So as you can see here, training kit size for the 2020 season, club code of conduct for the 2020 season. For example, this GDPR acceptance one, they might have accepted it for the 2019 season, but that might have changed. You might need that acceptance again. So if I click into it, what I want to do is I want to edit that to GDPR acceptance for 2020 season. Oh, not sure what's happened there. When I save this now, this will change that field, and it will make sure that the guys will, when you prompt to update your members, like I'm about to show you, it will send them out a message, and they'll know that they need to accept that again. So it's basically making sure that you're giving the guys the ability to update their information. So make sure these are all up to date. Head back to your membership database. Select all the members that you need to update their information. So when this loads, say, for example, I select the first 50 people here. You'll probably want to do this with everybody. There is an option there to click here to select all members. So I've selected everybody in the membership database there. This button here is key, prompt to update information. If you're looking to gather your information through Pitchero, click that button. Typically, this probably will say a few errors because they're not actually real members. They're all test members. This wouldn't really be here, but this would. So you can then put in a message that say, please, can you make sure your information is up to date? Just say, agreements to the club policies have changed. Please review and accept accordingly, as well as updating any necessary information. That'll send out to a message to the guys. If they don't act on that, it'll send it as an email. So they'll get that message. They'll know what they need to do. It'll give them a notification to go into their accounts and make sure they're keeping their information up to date. So there you go. The prompts are sent. That has sent a prompt out to the guys. Go in, update your information for the 2020 season. That way you know as a club that you have everything that you need. The final thing that I'm going to mention in terms of membership and your database, appreciate that I've thrown a lot of information at you here, guys, so please feel free to fire in any questions. The final thing that I'm going to mention is just making sure you've cleansed the information that you need. You've kind of reviewed and made sure that's correct. You need to cleanse the data that's within the database. People may have left the club a season ago, or maybe it's even like a few years ago, and you just haven't had a chance to go through and make sure the database is up to date. You need to go through really and make sure that people who don't need to be there are out of the database, and people that do need to be there are definitely in. So one thing that we've introduced in the past couple of weeks, which we think is a really nice feature, I'm just going to remove the medical conditions thing that I had on there, is the ability to see when people were last logged in. So if you click on fields there, it'll drop down the options you can use. This one here, last logged in, if you click that button, it'll show you when, for example, these people who, yes, are test members, so they've probably got all the same date, it looks as though they do, when they last logged in. So some of these people might be, the past couple of days. Some of these people might be years ago. Now, if they're years ago, that should really kind of, ring a couple of alarm bells and make you think, is this person still at the club? They might be, and they might just not be using their account, in which case you need to get them using that. But they could be past members who've since left, so you know that you can then remove them from the database. As simply as clicking into somebody, as we have done with Katharina here, who is a fake made-up member, clicking into that person and then removing them from the club. It's really important to do a good review of that season on season. One, just to keep on top of it all, but two, in terms of a GDPR perspective, these people might not want their data being held in your database anymore. They can request for that to be removed, but they might just not know it's there. So if you don't need that information, then by all means get rid of it. So appreciate that was a lot of information thrown at you quite quickly, guys. But what I'm going to do now, I'm going to pass over to Dan, who's got a couple of points to talk about. Once Dan has spoken to you and kind of talked through the payments and membership side thing on that side, we will take any questions. So I see there is a couple that have gone in there. We'll answer those shortly.
Joe, thank you very much indeed. Fantastic as always. As I say, as Joe's saying as well, it is a lot of information to take in. Obviously, what I'm going to say now as well, don't forget we're always here. Don't be alone out there. There's a Pitchero help centre. There's a number. There's the tech support guys downstairs. Make sure you get all that things that you need as well. Okay, so what I'm going to go on to now is talking about shop and payments. So one of the things, obviously, once you cleanse your database and things like that, the chances are you've collected subs or the membership for last season. So what's really key to do now is make sure we get rid of last season's payments. What we don't want is people logging on this year and trying to pay last year's payments. Now, that could be one of several reasons. It may have gone up. If it's like my rugby club, you tend to find it goes up by £5, £10 or whatever it may be. It doesn't sound a lot, but if you've got 200, 300, 400 members all paying £5 more, it's quite a lot more income into the club. So again, what we will do in that situation, we go into the products and we think about archiving the product. Now, what we can do before we archive the product If it's going to be the same year on year that they've done and it's not been set up to roll like that, we can clone. So as you can see here, annual membership we put here for 2020 is from £10. If we wanted to clone that, we can obviously hit the three dots at the side, click clone product. That product then comes up as it was, but it's now editable. So again, we can just go through, make sure it's all okay. So if we wanted to change it, say, you know, it's 2020 or 2021, we've realised obviously we want to change or put some new variants in. We want to change that to £110 because it's gone up by £10 this year. We're going to change the monthly payment to £11 as well. Again, we can change anything. If we want to do it as a one-time payment, we can do. We can set it up as a variant. So for as it stands at the moment, it's a recurring payment that's going to go out every single month. We can set the date it goes out. So if I want to set it, for instance, on the date, it says there, it's due to come out on the 1st, but it's not, that's going to be wrong. So if I just change that to the 1st of April 2020, I can say obviously we want it to come out then, and obviously after 10 payments, so that would come out on the 1st of April, 1st of May, and so on. We can do it that way. We can add more variants to it. So again, we've gone through there. We're not going to put any variants in. All members can purchase this product. So we just then click create product. There you go. So now what we can do is clone it. As it says there in brackets, it's cloned. One thing I want to talk about as well, just what Joe mentioned as well, just so you get the information that you're wanting, because we've all got those people in the club that, you know, no matter how much you chase them and get them to update information, they're not very IT savvy and they just never get round to it. So what you might want to do, you can create a payment form. So again, like Joe's mentioned before, you can take anything we've already got. So you can add a membership field, so we can have a look at the membership fields. We can add these. So I want to make sure we get the registration hockey number and emergency contact details. So I can add those. I can pop in a custom field. So it may be, so if you pay your membership up front, you get a free cricket top or a free hat or whatever it may be. You might want to know what size they are, what colour they want, do they want the initials on it. So again, as you normally would, like Joe's mentioned, you can pop all the information to here. So when they go in to buy that product, they're going to obviously fill out the information as well. And where Joe's just been in a membership database, you can filter it all down there and have a look. So you can use that information what you want. One thing Joe didn't say, all the information that's in there can be exported. So it can be exported onto a Excel spreadsheet or a CSV file, depending on what you're using. So all the information is there if you need that information as well. So that's what we've done. We've cloned a product. That's all good to go for next season. As Joe's mentioned, we're going to more depth. What we're going to do every other week, we're going to do this. But then next week, we're going to do membership and payments as well, showing you how to do it. So if you think that's going to be useful, log on. We're then going to go back on, obviously, to the new season the following week. There's going to go on for about 6 weeks. But like Joe said, keep an eye out on the blog and things for one's going to come out. So if I just go back into the products. So it's just coming up. As we can see, we've got the clone one there. That's all good. The original one's done and dusted. We no longer need that. Again, 3 buttons at the side. Halfway down, it says archive the product. We just click archive the product. As we can see, that's disappeared from there. Don't panic, the information has not disappeared. If we still want to report on it, if we just click filters here, we can click archive products to, apply the filter, and again, it gives us all the products we've got. So you might want to say, I just need to know how many people paid for the product last year. You can still go in and get that information from there as well. Couple of things I'll sort of mention and make sure as well. If you've set up a direct debit to continually roll and you've decided to archive that product, it's no longer available. We strongly advise you tell the people within your club to go to the bank and cancel a direct debit. You can go in yourself and cancel individual direct debits, but to cancel 200 direct debits, I'm sure it will take a heck of a lot of time, and I'm sure you've got other things you can do within the club as well. So just bear that in mind. With regard to setting up rolling payments that continuously roll for 12 months at a time, we have been asked by several clubs, They like to have income all the way through the year. So what they do, they charge £10 per month, and it's just ongoing. So when the season's not there, it's still getting income into the club. What they've said is, though, well, what happens if you want to amend it and put it up to £11 a month? That is coming. We have spoken to developers. The developers have said that will be with us within the next couple of months, where you will be able to go in and edit products that have already been purchased. So if your membership does roll for 12 months continuously, you are able, coming soon, to go in and change that as well. But as I say, because it goes into more depth and stuff, there's the membership and payments. Please log on next week and have a chat with me and Joe about how we do this. But don't be alone on yourselves out there. Get in touch with us if you need to. Speak to your account managers, speak to who you need to do within support. One thing I'm going to touch on as well, which Joe touched on, which is really, really important, is the app. Now, the app is a great way to communicate with your members, with supporters, with your players. It's really, really key that we make sure over the off-season you really get into people to download the app and use it. There's so many different things they can do with the app. So, for instance, on the club app, the supporter app, they can set their availability. Can the players, they can pay the products, they get the push notifications. If you tag them in a payment or you've sent the prompt through, like Joe said, you get a push notification to your phone to say you've been tagged. They can go in and read the message. They can go in and pay the fees and things, the membership online. They can look at stuff on there. They can send messages online, so they can do all that as well. It's really, really key. One thing as well is the managers app as well. The managers app is fantastic for your webmasters, coaches and managers out there. As Joe's mentioned, obviously medical conditions. It's Sunday, you're playing cricket, the under-13s are playing cricket. Little Johnny gets a knock on the knee with the cricket ball, needs to go for an X-ray on his knee. You're thinking, what do I do? So no longer do you have to run inside and find the registration documents. You can look on your manager app. You go into that team, you find little Johnny, and all the information that is filled out on the membership database will be available on your phone, so you can see his mum's Mrs. Smith, his emergency contact number. There's a number. You can call it straight away from the side of the pitch. So it's really, really good. It's safe. It's secure. The only people that are able to access that information are people who you've given access to, the webmasters, team managers, coaches who might have the admin access as well. So that's really, really good. Joe mentioned previously about the sign on. So we just see the last people that when they last logged into their account. What else we've added, which is really, really good, because it's like my rugby club, I'll say to somebody, we downloaded the app. Yeah, we have downloaded the app, Dan, no problem. Or no, it won't let me download it for whatever reason. As you can see here, we've added club app user. So I can now see, and you can now see in your database, which people are using the app and which people aren't using the app. So say, for instance, here, Layla says to me, oh yeah, Dan, I was using the app last night. I can say, no, you weren't, because you've not even downloaded it. So we know this information. So it's really, really good. We've all got people in the club that do that don't want to buy into things. So we've now put that little bit of information for you as well. A couple of things I want to touch on now, just a couple of things that we're looking at moving forward. A lot of cricket clubs and hockey clubs especially have contacted us and said, what about collecting match fees as well? That is something that is in process at the moment with the developers. How it will exactly work, I don't know. Will it work through when you send your team selection out, it automatically creates a product for that person to say your match fee is now due? We're not 100%, but we have been told it's been worked on and it should be here for the start of the cricket season. Also being able to amend, what I mentioned before, the membership as well, that's constantly ongoing. So that is something that we're looking at doing. We're constantly looking to do updates and move things forward. So if you have got any requests, me and Joe sit down every fortnight with the lead developers. We have a conversation, what you guys have said to us, what you guys have asked for. And it may be, someone's asked for it before and it's not, obviously we can't do it or it'll take too long to do. It may be something really easy, like we've just shown you there, club app user, because the information's in the system. It's just obviously how we show that and record that information to you. So that is a sort of thing where we're going. As I say, talk to us. More sort of webinars are coming out throughout the next 6 weeks with me and Joe. Me and Joe will be out and about probably around March time. We're just planning that at the moment, so keep an eye on the blog of when me and Joe are coming out. I think it's always nice to sort of meet up, meet people, and obviously put a face to a name to a face. I think that's quite good as well. So really, that's it from me. It's a lot of information to take in. Obviously, Joe's gone through setting up the season. I've talked about payments and what's coming, and obviously how we work things out here at headquarters at Pitchero. So I suppose without further ado, let's move on to see if you've got any questions. So let's just have a look. So, question, we've got one from Matt. Matt said here, can you automatically copy fixtures from Play Cricket website, or do the league need to input to Pitchero separately?
Cheers, Matt. You don't need to do anything. As long as you guys are on, or your league is on Play Cricket, Pitchero drags that information out automatically. So neither you guys or the league need to do anything. We have a working relationship with Play Cricket. So we drag that information off their website. So you don't need to do anything. So all you need to do is come February time when those go live on the system, just connect to the competition. That's all you need to do. And then when you put those when you put the results and stuff into Play Cricket, then that will just drag through automatically.
That's great. Daniel's asked, we have an existing paper membership form. If we wanted to convert that to an online system, could Pitchero help set up the online form?
Yeah, sure, definitely. Fire across a message to either your account manager or to the support team. We can show you how it all works, show you how to set up the fields and how you make sure that they're applying to the correct people and whatnot. Definitely something we're going to help with, Daniel. Yeah, 100%.
Superb. Matt's asked, Matt said great news about the match fees. Yeah, it is. It's been asked for quite a while, Matt, as that. And as I say, it's the guys have got round to it because we know it's really important to you. We did the research as well. You probably collect between 20 and 40% more membership match fees because I think we've all done it, especially at my rugby club. I've said to somebody, can I have your match fee? I've got no money. The next thing you know, they're at the bar with a pint in their hand. It's like, well, how does that work? So that's brilliant. Kevin's also said, hi, any progress on Play Cricket friendly fixtures linking?
Good question, Kevin. Unfortunately, we don't. The way in which our integration works, the technicalities of it is not something that I know the ins and outs of. But the way in which our integration works, it's just with the league platform. So it's not with friendlies, it's not with cup games or anything like that. But it is really quick and easy, the way I showed you before, when you go into the teams and then into their particular team, to add just a singular fixture in for your friendlies, just add them in one by one. Cup games obviously come and go. It's really quick and easy to add them in. So unfortunately, we can't link with friendlies and cup games, but they are quite easy to add in manually.
Not a problem. Daniel's asked another question. What percentage rates are taken for the payments made through Pitchero? I know in the first queue our treasurer will ask.
Cool. Cheers, Daniel. Good question again. That totally depends on what package you're on and which payment provider you choose to use. All you need to do to find that out, go into your dashboard, head to the shopping payments feature, click into payments and providers. Depending on what package you're on, the Pitchero percentage kind of differs. So the free package, depending on what you're on, the free package is a certain percentage. It gets lower on the elite package and then lower again on the ultimate package. Just basically head to the shopping payments feature. If you've got these in here already, it doesn't matter. Click the add a new payment provider button here, and it will show you those percentages for you. Like for what package and stuff you're on. So take a look at that and give us a shout in the support if you need any help.
We'll just give you a couple more minutes if anyone's got any more questions. We are doing recordings of all our webinars as well, so if you need to see a recording, just let us know. We see you can't really see a recording, can you? So I'll change that. We are doing the recordings, so if you want to listen to them, we are going to be sending those out, or obviously, as I say, we'll be putting them on the blogs as well. Dan, many thanks. No problem at all. That's great. Let's have a look. What's Matt had to say? Does the Play Cricket integration pull player stats, etc., across as well?
Cheers, Matt. It's a strange one, kind of. Now, what it does is it pulls through your scorecards and stuff. So it pulls through who's scored the runs and things like that. But it doesn't link to the same players within Pitchero. So it wouldn't necessarily link with the stats. That's a little bit of a complicated one. It kind of does, it kind of doesn't. What I would do if I was you, Matt, drop the support guys an email and get one of the guys to fully explain how that works to you. There is a way in which that you can put in the scorers manually. It's up to you how you want to do it. There is a way you can put them in manually, and that will link with the specific people in Pitchero. But what we don't have is a relationship between your members on Pitchero and your members on Play Cricket. But drop the guys in support a message. They'll be more than happy to explain that one to you, Matt.
Okay, so last minute or so, Matt's just said here, makes sense. Many thanks, no problem, Matt. As I say, last minute or so for questions. Don't be alone out there, as I keep mentioning. You can contact your account managers if you have one. If not, it's support@pitchero.com. There's also the help centre. So if you just type in Pitchero Help Centre into Google, that will come up. Again, you can type in Pitchero blog. That will come up on Google as well to read all the blogs, how to do things. And on there, it's got testimonials from clubs like yourselves who have gone from it, who were a little bit sceptical, who've now gone on to there and now using that as well. So that's really good. The phone number is 0113 292 6070. Just come through and we're more than happy to chat to you. But it looks like we've got no more questions, so I don't know if that's good or bad, Joe.
Yeah, hopefully that's a good thing. Hopefully we haven't confused too many people.
So as I say, guys, thanks for logging on. Thanks for listening. We appreciate, obviously, listening to your time at night, so we appreciate that as well. As I say, look out for more coming soon, and no doubt we'll all speak and talk to you soon.
Perfect. Thank you very much, guys. Hope you found that informative. Cheers.
Cheers, guys.